Alright, so once you've got your top and bottom machining sorted, we need to create another file now that's called subcol. Alright, so what we're going to do is just copy and paste one of these files. So if I just go right click, copy, and then just right click, paste. Alright, now this one here that's called copy, we're going to just double click on it and then change the name to subcol.fnc. Alright, now when you open up this file, so double click on it and open it up with Notepad. I'm just going to go Control A and then press delete. Alright, so we can now type in the stuff that we need to do here. So first thing that we're going to do is we are going to type in G00 A 90. Then we're going to go M98 space P0003 G00 A270 M98 P0004 and then G00 A0 and just M30 at the end of that. All right, so what's actually happening here is as soon as the code starts, or as soon as it starts running on the CNC machine, it's going to rotate the angle of the block to 90 degrees. So now, when it starts your program 003, which is your top machining, it should be machining the top of your block. Once it's done with this, the block should rotate to 270 degrees, all right, which would be the underside of your block. And then once again, it will call for program 0004 to start running. All right, and it'll machine the bottom of your car, and then it's going to return the fourth axis back to 0 degrees. All right, and then it's going to end the code from there. So just make sure this is all correct. All right, once that's done, just go File, Save. Okay, and now that's complete. So we can close this one down. Now we just need to fix up these two bits of code as well. So we'll go to 0003 first, and right at the bottom, it should say M30. You need to change that to M99. So M30 actually finishes your code. All right, so it won't run anything else from there. But as you know, with that subcode that we just created, we want it to run through this code and then go back to the subcode. All right, for that to give us the next set of instructions to do. So we don't want it ending after this code here. So we need to change that M30 to M99. Go File, Save. Now we go to number 4 here. Do the same thing. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Change that to M99. File, Save. Okay, so that's those complete now. The next thing you're going to do is we need to get some code to do your axle holes as well, if you have axle holes. If you have 3D printed and you don't have, or you got, 3D printed axles, so if you're in professional class, chances are you probably don't need to do this step. But if you're in development class, you would definitely need to do this. So to get this file, you need to go to the R drive. For you, it would say R curriculum, all right? But you go to the R drive, go to STEM and STEAM, go to the Year 8 F1 program, machining, and there's this axle holes code. Now I'm gonna just click on it once and go copy. I'm gonna go back to my home drive and put it into my folder, this one here. So I'm gonna paste it in here. All right, so I need you to do the same with yours. All right, once you've got this code, we'll just open it up. Okay, so it should open up once again in Notepad. Now I'm just going to make that box a little bit smaller so I can see my car as well. All right, so on Fusion, what you're going to do is look at the side view of your car, and we're going to create a sketch. And I'll just create it here on this flat spot. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get a couple of dimensions for the location of the axle holes. So I'm going to go to sketch dimension. I'm going to go from the back of the car to this axle hole. Go create driven. From the back to this axle hole. Create driven. And now from the middle of your axle hole here to this line, which represents the middle of this canister. Most of you should have this line. If you don't, you might need to project geometry this, all right, and then maybe make like a little point that you can attach to, okay? But most of you should have a line like this on the side of your car that you can use. All right, so a lot of you will probably have 19 millimeters or something close to. All right, if you haven't changed the height of the axle holes, you should be around this sort of mark. Okay, and obviously these axle holes this way is up to you, wherever you put them on your car. All right, so in this direction, this is the Y direction, so that's 19, and the X direction is running along the car this way, so it's going to be 54 and 161. All right, everyone is going to be different, so please do not copy my dimensions. Now, when I come to this code, all right, this bit of code here, all right, so first of all, the one on top here, the S23000, that's making the spindle, like the cutter on the machine, rotate to 23,000 RPM. Then this first line here is going to locate your first axle hole. Then it's going to drill down, and then it's going to come back up. And then it's going to do the same thing here, but for the other one. All right, so the X for your first hole can be this one here. All right, so 54 millimeters. So it'd be, X minus 54. And your Y, which is running this direction, needs to be 19. All right, now for the next one here, okay, we're going to do the other dimension there. It's 161 for X, and then 19 should be the same. All right, so we're drilling one hole, two holes, then we're rotating the block 180 degrees. All right, and then M71 flips the orientation. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you're basically going to have holes on like the bottom side of your car and the upper side of your car, and they're not going to be aligned together. So this flips the orientation, so your axle holes will be on the same side of your block from both sides. All right, then it's going to do the same thing again. So once again, we're going to go 54, and this one, the Y is going to be 19. Then this X here needs to be 161, Y 19. All right, so it's going to machine the two holes again here. And it's going to rotate the angle back to 0 degrees on the fourth axis, and then it's going to home the cutter and then finish your code here. All right, so just go save. Awesome. All right, so now if we go back to this folder, you should have the 0003, 0004, axle holes code, and then your subcall as well. Okay, so when I go to the machine, I'm going to run this one first for the axle holes. All right, and then I'm going to run the subcall, which is then going to run these two here. So all you need to do is go back, and on this folder, you're going to right click and go to compress to zip file. On yours, it might say send to, and then you can click on that. All right, but then once you've zipped it, so your folder would look like this. All right, then you can send that to me on Daymap, and we can get that ready on the machine.